Alright guys, I'm going to do a little thing on soft soldering for like water pipe and stuff like that. I had a couple of people ask me to do a little video on it, so I got some of the stuff here on the table. I want to talk about some of the cutters, some of the little close cutters. These work really good. I like these here. This is 3/4, ½ inch, little tiny midget imp cutter they call it. These small cutters will do up to 1 inch. They have other cutters here that only go up to 3/4. This will go up to 1 inch. This reed here will go up to 1 inch. 1 inch copper. This one will go up to 1 inch also. This will go to 2 inch copper, 2 inch copper. Now all these have reamers. If you want to ream the pipe after you cut it, really should ream it. You pop that one out. This one here pops out. They all have reamers except for the little imp cutters don't have reamers. And they have this type of reamer here that goes right inside to ream the pipe. It works very good. You can even, they got the kind, just put it right in your pocket. Then you have the sandpaper. Well, I got some new stuff. There's different kind of sandpaper. I like using this one because it can use it when it's wet. It works good. They got the grit paper. It's emery cloth is what it's called. Some guys say you use steel wool, but I don't use that. I just throw that right in my toolbox. Soft solder. You can't use anything with lead in it anymore. I like this Silver Bright. They have what they call 95.5, which this is, but this has a little tiny bit of silver in it, which makes it flow better. You could use 95.5, which is 95.10, 5% antimony. This is good stuff. It flows good. I mean, it seals up good. Years ago, we used to use 50-50 on heating. Wire brushes for cleaning inside the fittings, 1/2 inch and 3/4. You go all the way up to 2 inch. You need a striker to light the torch. The type of torch I'm using today is an LP Turbo. Okay, and I got this little tip. I seem to like this little tip. That's actually a MAP gas tip, but it's the same. And I got some different tips here. There's 3 different size tips. The big one obviously would be for like 1.5 2 inch, and the smaller sizes for smaller sizes. So what you need some flux in a rag, sandpaper, and some way to cut the pipe. Alright, and over here we got some 1/2 inch copper. I'm going to solder an elbow up, show you how it's done. And whenever you're in a house, say you're cutting into a water line somewhere, you want to shut the main off, go upstairs, open up all the water lines, open up all the faucets, and drain everything out. Okay? You're going to be cutting into this pipe, and there's any kind of water. The water keeps coming. There ain't no way you could solder it. You got to get rid of the water in the pipe. And if there's standing water in a pipe, if I ever cut into a house or something, a lot of times I'll use what they call a jet fitting. It's got a little bleeder on it. I'll take that little bleeder off. I can get these in elbows and couplings. It's called a jet fitting. And I'd use that. This way here, when you're doing the soldering, it's going to steam. The water's going to steam and come out. So, as it steams and comes out, it won't blow the solder out. These things save me a lot. Some guys say use bread. The only time I use bread is on my sandwich. Alright, so let's get to it. Alright, so in this one here I'll be using this cutter here, which is a pretty standard cutter. Obviously you take a measurement, with your tape, whatever you wanted it to be cut at. And I always use a Sharpie. Or another little trick you can do is you can put your finger there where you want it and just mark it with the back. Leave a mark there. Okay, so you know where to cut. That little part in the back there, that little reamer. Okay, so we'll make that cut. And what you want to do with these tools every once in a while is hit them with WD-40 or some kind of lubricant, because they get wet in the box and whatnot. Alright, so after you cut your pipe, you want to ream it. You want to get those shavings out of there. You leave any of them shavings in there, what happens is they'll get inside the washers and the thing will leak. So if you're going to ream your pipe out, make sure you clean it good. This type of reamer just goes around like that. This works really good, this little reamer. I really like this little reamer. I said, make sure you get them shavings out of there. Okay? A lot of guys won't even ream it. And what you want to do is you want to take your copper and just clean it like so. Now, if you don't have one of these, you could roll up the sandpaper and get it in there and clean it with the sandpaper too. It's not a big deal. You want to get it clean. And what I use the self-cleaning flux. There's all kinds of different fluxes you could use, and I use a flux brush. That's what that is. And just put a little bit on and tighten this up. And I'll put some on the pipe. Flux, you don't want to go crazy with it, just put enough on there because you don't want to have extra. You want to coat the fitting. Okay, and just make sure it's wiped off good. Like that. You just want to put a little film on it. You don't want to have blobs of stuff in there, you just want enough. Now what the flux is going to do, when you heat this joint up, the flux is going to heat up and pull the solder in. That's all the flux does. And just give it a little crimp so it don't move around on us. Okay. That'll be good like that. Alright, so now what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be heating up the joint with the torch. Put the torch on there and heat it up a little bit. And then well, the theory is you don't want to heat it up too much because you can cook it and burn the flux. So you're going to see how I do it. I'm going to heat it up. You take the heat off and it should be warm enough to put the solder on it and you'll see it pull right in. Now, you know, as you get experience you can leave the heat on there, but that's how it should be done. Now, while it's still cool, while it's still hot, I'll wipe it off and make it smooth with the rag. Get a rag handy, ready to go here, okay? See if we can do this. I'll heat it up a lot of times and I'll wipe the flux off, the extra flux. It's just gonna, you don't need it. See, it's not hot enough yet. Yeah, that's all you need right there. We'll wipe it easy with the rag. There, go in there, that's it, that's all you need. Now for some reason if the solder didn't take, you can hit it like that and hit it with the flux brush. Get a little bit, sometimes that'll work. That's a little tech tip. Nice and easy, you don't want to put too much pressure on it. Now, if there was water in this pipe, when you heat this up, that water is going to steam out. That's why you need a jet fitting. With this off, the water will steam out here. Now, if you don't have these in there, what's going to happen is the water and the steam is going to blow the solder out and it'll leak. So if you got a new house and there's no water, standing water in a pipe, a regular elbow is fine. But if you're ever cutting into live lines, even after you drain them, if you could tip this line up, with a screwdriver or something to get the water to move down the line, you're better off. I use these a lot. It saves me a lot of time, aggravation. If there's a leak, I just open it, heat it up, reflux it, and then when I'm done, I put the cap back. Done. You could wait until after you're done soldering and wipe it off with a wet rag. You can do that also. But I kind of like doing it like that. It makes a nice joint, nice seal. You don't want to see any gaps. You don't want to see any gaps. You want to see a nice job like that. And that's it. It's soldered. That will not leak if you clean it good and solder it like that. You'll be fine. Now in 3/4, you might have to move the torch around a little bit, but that's it right there. That's how you solder copper pipe.